All right, we're live. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Wasik here from Chicago, Illinois, here in the States for another edition of Fixture Focus, where we interview people who are fans of the club that West Ham are about to play, an opposition match preview show, if you will. A little special episode. I'm coming here from AJ Hudson's Pub in Chicago, Illinois. The pub that West Ham fans in Chicago come to. You'll see a bunch of Everton things behind me. I'm in the side of the pub that is closed down for the minute. So the West Ham stuff is in the corner that we actually did occupy for the Burnley win today. So I tried to wear my West Ham bucket hat to try to even out all the Everton stuff. But anyways, guys, here with Jack Bradley, West Brom fan, living in the Birmingham area in West Brom in England. Jack, thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, Justin. Trying to keep safe and trying to stay sane as well while supporting West Brom, which isn't always the easiest thing.
Yeah, staying safe, obviously, safe and healthy first and foremost, and then trying to keep sane during during soccer season. I'll say soccer. I'm American. I'm not going to admit it. You can tell by my accent, but soccer is also an English term, so I'm not afraid to. It's originated in England. I'm not afraid to say it. It is what it is. But yeah, man, I'm glad to have you on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
So, I mean, we do interview a lot of people who aren't from the area that the teams that they support are from. Obviously, you live in that area. I'm assuming you're from that area. How did you become a Baggies fan?
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in West Brom, in the Black Country, not Birmingham, as we're commonly confused with, but right down the road. So yeah, born and raised in West Bromwich, and my whole family are West Brom supporters, with the exception of an uncle on my mother's side who decided to go rogue and support Aston Villa. That doesn't go down very well. But yeah, all West Brom fans other than that. And yeah, my earliest memories of the football, I can remember our debut season in the Premier League back in 2002. My dad actually took me to a game against Fulham, and we won 1-0. And I remember that clearer than some of the last games that I went to last season. So that certainly stuck in the memory. And yeah, I got the bug, and I've been Albion ever since, for better or worse. Been a season ticket holder for probably 15 years now. So I feel like I've seen a lot, seen plenty. I've seen promotions, relegations, and no doubt there'll be a few more. But hopefully we can avoid that for this season at least. And yeah, it's been my life ever since, really.
How far from the ground do you live?
Not far at all. West Brom's not a huge town anyway. We're about probably 3 or 4 miles away from the ground, which is nothing. It's a walkable distance after the games when you're trying to get back home. So yeah, not far away at all, really.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm a big. My team growing up was the Chicago Cubs, Major League Baseball here in Chicago, season ticket holder as well, and grew up probably a few miles away from the ground as well. Could have walked, could have drove. Not a whole lot of parking, so mainly took public transportation, but I feel that vibe as well. So respect it as well. I do want to talk to you about, so your current manager, Sam Allardyce, former West Ham manager, your former manager, Slaven Bilic, former West Ham manager. I'm interested in your opinion on the sacking of Slaven and the hiring of Sam. So it's sort of a twofold question. What did you think about the sacking to begin with? And then what did you think about the hiring of Sam Allardyce?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Slaven Bilic. I mean, last season, I think he was the perfect man for the job. I think a lot of West Brom supporters have grown disillusioned with the club and the way it was being run, both by our current owners and the previous incumbent as well. I think he came in and gave a real shot in the arm of the fan base, and followed on from the kind of good work that Darren Moore and Jimmy Shine had done previously in uniting the fans and getting them back on side. And he kind of harnessed that that energy, I think, in the stands and helped drive us forward with obviously some inspired signings in the likes of Matheus Pereira and Grady Diangana initially on loan last season. I'm sure we'll come on to him shortly, but he got us up, and he did so probably a season early. I think post the COVID pause that kind of curtailed the last season, I think we fell off a little bit. We haven't really looked fit since then. Even now into this new season, we haven't really looked fit. We certainly haven't been at our best, and I think a lot of Albion fans were perhaps hopeful coming into the season that we would be competitive at least and try and land a punch on the teams around us in a bid to stay up. But unfortunately for Slaven Bilic, who, as I say, I think is a fantastic guy, you won't find any Albion fans that will speak ill of him personally, as I'm sure the same goes for West Ham. I think we perhaps came to the season thinking, well, if nothing else, let's have a go. And from day one, it just hasn't really turned out that way, unfortunately, for Slaven Bilic. And, we started the season with some tough fixtures. We had Leicester, Everton, and then Chelsea. Started the season with 2 defeats, and whilst they were, I think it was 3-0 and then 5-2 against Leicester and Everton respectively, we played okay in spells, and I think there was enough in those performances to say, well, if we can tweak a few things, then we stand a chance. We went 3-0 up against Chelsea before throwing that away and drawing 3-3, and after that it just seemed to go downhill. Some poor results followed. We only took, I think it was 2 points off the likes of Burnley, Brighton, Fulham, Newcastle, teams like that. That if you want to stay in this division, you need to be taking points off regularly. And that was really the writing was on the wall for Slaven Bilic at that point. I thought after we lost 2-0 away at Fulham, a team that we played well against times last season, that got promoted with us, and if nothing else, you should be able to beat teams that you've got promoted with. I think I was surprised that he kept his job after that. There was definitely some tension with the board. The sale of Ahmed Hegazi to a club in Saudi Arabia didn't go down well with Bilic. I think the writing was on the wall at that point, and we never really got back to the Albion of this time last year. Well, not this time last year, as our form was faltering a little bit then, but certainly early last season, and we struggled massively. So, it was a shame. It was a shame to see him go, especially on the back of a 1-1 draw away at Manchester City, which is a good result for anyone. But the sacking, for all intents and purposes, sounds like the wheels were kind of set in motion for that after the Newcastle result, the previous game, in which we'd lost away at Newcastle 2-1. So it was a disappointment, and I think if Albion fans are honest with themselves, they can understand why it happened. It didn't go down well with everybody, perhaps because of the manner of the sacking as well. But it was disappointing to see him go. I will say that. And with regards to Sam Allardyce, he's come in and he's a polarising figure. I think at the best of times is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Albion fans burned by Tony Pulis and Alan Pardew in the past, perhaps see him as a manager that is of that same ilk. And it hasn't been a great start under him. Obviously, as we speak now, we've beat Wolves earlier today in the Black Country Derby, which is only our second win of the season. And I'm smiling at the thought of it, but it shouldn't mask over the fact that the previous results haven't been up to scratch. Drew away at Anfield, but other than that, it's been poor. We've shipped a lot of goals and even crashed out of the FA Cup last weekend away at Blackpool. So the jury's still out for me personally with Sam Allardyce. I personally don't put him in the same category as a Tony Pulis or an Alan Pardew, but I do see the reservations that people have about him. We'll see. I mean, he's a local guy, and you'd hope that he can channel that and inspire the fans and inspire the team, perhaps as he might have done today against Wolves. Who knows?
So when you say you don't put him in the same category as a Tony Pulis, are you saying that he's maybe a little bit of a class above? Yeah.
With all due respect to Pulis and Pardew and the like, I don't reflect well on their era in charge of the club, particularly fondly. The style of play and some of the comments that were made in the press and whatnot, that isn't the way I like to see my football club managed. I think Big Sam's record is better than both of those, and I think, when I think of Sam Allardyce, I always think back to his time at Bolton, first and foremost, when he had obviously the likes of JJ Alcotter in the team and whatnot, and they were organised and resolute at the back, but they could play a little bit as well. I think it's unfair to call him a strictly a long ball manager. He's definitely defence first, but I think a lot of managers probably are and don't get criticised for that. So, much the same as David Moyes, perhaps is at West Ham. I think he, first and foremost, is pragmatic. Roy Hodgson's one of the best managers we've had, certainly in my lifetime, and he fits that bill as well. I think they're all kind of in that bracket above, and Sam Allardyce should hopefully he'll be able to channel his abilities, and hopefully the game hasn't passed him by, and we can get out of the mess that we're in.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's talk about some West Ham players who are now on West Brom. Obviously, Grady Diangana, you guys bought before the season for about £12 million, and then you guys just bought Robert Snodgrass. Figure undisclosed. At least I haven't seen one. Maybe $1 million, maybe a little bit underneath that. So, first of all, how has Diangana fit into the team? I know he had a great season. He was a bit injured last year, but when he was playing, great season last year. And then Snodgrass started today. I didn't see the game, so I'm not sure how he played. But I guess my question to you is, one, how has Diangana fared this season? And two, what is your opinion of the Snodgrass signing?
It's probably easier to answer the Snodgrass question first and foremost. Obviously, he's only been here one game, but his performance today was good. Perhaps not man of the match, but I think certainly in the reckoning for it, I think he had something that we desperately need, and that's experience, and he's street level and knows what it's about. One of our failings this season, I think, has been our inexperience at the level. Obviously, we lost Chris Brunt and Gareth Barry in the summer as they left the club, and even the sale of Ahmed Higazi, who played at this level for us before. I think that was quite damaging. We do have Jake Livermore and Kieran Gibbs, and we have signed Branislav Ivanovic, but if I'm honest, they haven't performed this season, and they've perhaps they certainly, in the case of Livermore and Gibbs, who've both been sent off at times, have made some really rash decisions on the pitch that have cost us. As for Ivanovic, I think he's in the nicest possible way, his best days are behind him. So I think Snodgrass comes in, and I think he's still got a little bit more to give on the pitch and off the pitch, which I think is something we need for this inexperienced crop of players. Encouraged by that signing, for a nominal fee. I don't think it's low risk, isn't it? And I think he'll be a good addition. As for Grady, I'm a huge Diangana fan. There's no, I have no shame in saying that, and I do think that he'll come good in a West Brom shirt, but unfortunately, it hasn't worked out so far this season. I think it's hard for players like him. He's a young lad, and his style of play is perhaps not conducive to a lot of teams coming into the Premier League and trying to stay up. Perhaps part of the reason why he has fared so differently to in the Championship is A, the level, obviously, but B, in the Championship we had a lot more of the ball, and we put teams under a lot more pressure than we've been doing this season. And I think for him, then it gives him the freedom to play his way. You don't have that in the Premier League, do you, as a club in our position? So, yeah, Diangana, it's not been a great season. He started reasonably brightly with that goal at Everton away that he took really well, but it just hasn't clicked for him yet, and he missed today through injury. So hopefully now he gets fit, comes back, and we'll see the Grady Diangana that we all know and love at West Brom, because he's certainly a favourite with the fans.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think his style of play is a little bit more flair than more flair than the style of play that you need in a team like West Brom in the Premier League to stay up. You need to grind out results. Big Diangana fan myself. We'll see what happens. I thought he would have fared well at West Ham. Didn't think he'd fare well at West Brom, and so far I am right. For you guys, I do want to see you guys stay up. Hopefully you can contribute some key goals. And let's talk about the result today, though. We're talking right now on Saturday the 16th, afternoon time here in the States, evening over there. Big win. Big win against the Wolves side, who, to be fair, haven't been the same side since Jimenez got hurt. Nonetheless, a very decent side who has been a top half team, a team that is qualified for Europa League. How was that victory today? I know you guys got a couple penalties, but you also deservedly won that match. What did you think about that result today?
Yeah, sad to say I wasn't optimistic going in. I think Wolves, obviously, as you say, they were a tremendous side last season, and as much as they are local rivals, I think they have benefited from a lot of investment and obviously the George Mendes connection as well. But I think they've generally done things the right way in terms of investing on and off the pitch. And they've reaped the benefits of that. So coming into the game today, as you say, their form was patchy with the absence of Jimenez, who I hope gets better soon. It was good to see him at the game today, at least, and know that he's on his way back to recovery. But wasn't optimistic going in. I think whatever was said in the huddle at the end of the game at Blackpool last weekend in the FA Cup, I'd like to think it was something to the effect of next week we need to atone for this defeat, because the mood, I think, was poor amongst the supporters last week after that, and there was a lot of worry going into the game. We started well, started brightly, and one thing that we did today that we haven't done as well recently is move the ball quick, and moved it with a purpose where we could. Matheus Pereira, who is key to everything we do, frankly. Alongside Diangana last season, he was a fantastic player. He struggled this season as well. Matheus Pereira was played centrally today, and I think that really benefited us. Gets him more of the ball, and he then has the tools then to put us into areas where he can really punish teams. And it was 2 penalties that he scored today, but he took both of them well. And at the end of the day, you have to get into a position to win the penalties and then put opponents under enough pressure to force the penalties, which is what we did. And of course, it was a goal from Shemi Ajayi on a long throw, which throws you back to the days of Tony Pulis at Stoke with Rory Delap launching those balls into the penalty area. He's been a big asset to us this season, and I think he's. I'm not sure of the figures, but he might be our top goal scorer. He's certainly not far off, which probably says a lot about how we fared with him being a central defender. But it was a good performance. We battled, we fought for the second balls, which is something we haven't always done this season, which is almost the cardinal sin amongst football fans, to not have that desire and fight. But thankfully it was there today against a local rival. And I thought Wolves had a lot of the ball, but didn't really do a great deal with it, probably owing to some of the injury issues they've had. But I think it was a great win, and one that we'll save for a long time.
I know you're buzzing after the win, but I'm going to ask you: yes, no, or unsure? Do you guys stay up this year?
It's important to treat these things with a bit of balance, I think, isn't it? And it's one win. It's one win in a long season that There's plenty of tough games ahead. Tuesday night being another one. I can't bring myself to say yes, we will be relegated. I can't do that. Not today of all days. But I'm unsure we'll stay up. But I won't say either way. I'm going to sit on the fence on this one, I'm afraid.
No, respect. I think if you can get another win in the next few matches, especially if other teams around you drop points, as they have been, to be fair. Game on. Game on. Father Snowman, who's in the comments, asked, how do West Brom defend set pieces? So West Ham have actually been pretty well, have done pretty well in terms of scoring goals from set pieces. I think we're, definitely in the top 5 or 6 in terms of set piece goals. How has West Brom fared in terms of set pieces?
Well, without knowing the stats off the top of my head, I'm fairly certain that we've conceded more corners. Not necessarily from corners, but I think we concede on average more corners than any other team in the division, which automatically puts us under pressure then to defend those. I know you said that you didn't see the game today against Wolves, but at times today the defending on set pieces was spectacularly bad. We really struggle to clear our lines, and that's a problem because let's say you do get a toe on something or manage to head something clear. When the ball's been fired back into the penalty area and you're struggling to get it away, that pressure just gets greater and greater and greater. Then and eventually you crack. Willie Bolly, the Wolves centre half, was instrumental in.
He was key.
Yeah, and as a centre back, it's set pieces where you thrive, and that's where he had success.
I'm just throwing a stat for you, Jack. I saw on Twitter he had more expected goals (XG) today in today's game than Adama Traore has had all season.
Oh, really? Yeah, Traore's not had a brilliant season.
He hasn't had a great year, but that was still a pretty incredible stat.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Willie Bolly had a great game.
Yeah. He's a good player, and he's one that I think Wolves have a lot of fantastic players, but he'd be one of the ones that I'd certainly look to snap away from them if ever he was looking to cross the Black Country divide. So can't see it happening though, unfortunately.
Well, man, great insight into West Brom and their season so far. We'll wrap this up, but of course, before we end, I know some people don't like to give predictions. I am one of those people that like to give predictions, and I like to see myself fail. So I'm going to ask you if you'd like. No pressure if not, but predictions for the match in just a few days' time. I think Tuesday, right? Yeah, 3 days' time. So what are you thinking?
Well, I sat on the fence about the relegation question. I'm going to jump off the fence now. I think the set pieces do worry me. I think especially with Tom Soucek, who I think is a fantastic player, and a fantasy Premier League legend as well. For anyone that gets involved in FPL, he's a nightmare on set pieces, and I can see him having a bit of fortune against us in that respect. Banking perhaps on a rejuvenated West Brom side after today's result. I'm gonna say a close game, and would a draw be sitting back on the fence again? I'm gonna say a 1-1 draw.
All right, I respect that, and honestly, I always thought, and as a West Ham fan, you got to know there's some golden rules. If there's a striker that hasn't scored in a while, he's going to score against West Ham. If there's a manager who just took over a team, he's going to beat West Ham, especially a former manager, aka Big Sam. And me and my West Ham mates, we always said, we looked at the fixture list. We always said he's for sure getting his first win against us, without a doubt. He got it today. I do think we're just nicking wins today. This year, I just think we're figuring out a way. It's not pretty. West Ham is not playing pretty football. We're not playing the West Ham way, but we're winning. We're getting the 3 points. David Moyes has really solidified our defense, well organized, disciplined. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham, and I don't pick a lot of West Ham victories. I really don't. It's mainly draws or losses, but I think I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham. I think it'll be a very tightly contested game. I think Diangana's injured. So I think Snodgrass it'll be interesting to see Snodgrass play against us. We love Snodgrass here, by the way. I think he's a great player for you guys. Perfect fit for West Brom. I'm going to go 2-1 though. I do feel a little bit of a streak coming on. I think we're playing very well. 4 clean sheets in a row, by the way. 4 clean sheets in a row. Craig Dawson came in for the Southampton match before New Year's Day, and we were sliding Craig Dawson so much, man. I mean, Craig Dawson on loan from Watford. What the fuck are we doing? 4 matches, 4 clean sheets, and he's also scored a goal. So he scored more goals than we've given up with him on the pitch. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I'm going to go
he's
2-1.
a player we know well.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to go 2-1. I hope I'm right. I hope you're wrong. And but definitely we'll be wishing you guys luck. I definitely hope West Brom stay up. I really do. I think they're a proper team. Definitely hope they stay up over other teams like Fulham. Yeah, whatever. Don't really care about them. I've interviewed some people from Fulham, but I'm sorry, I don't give a shit. West Brom, proper team, and wish you guys the best. And yeah, man, wish you luck on Tuesday. Not too much, but wish you luck. And hey, Jack, thanks for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate the time. Would love to have you on for the reverse fixture. Hopefully, you guys are in a bit of a better situation at that point. But really appreciate the time, man. Really appreciate your insight as well.
No problem. Always happy to help out, and yeah, glad to come back on for that return fixture. So yeah, more than happy to do that. And like you say, all the best for Tuesday, but not too much good luck. And yeah, all the best though for the rest of the season, because I think you'll be all right. And I think West Ham. I try and stay away from using the proper club phrase, but I think West Ham, you are a proper team. I've always thought that, and who knows? Hopefully, we'll be playing each other next season in the Premier League.
Absolutely, man. Stay on for a bit. I'll end the broadcast and we'll chat afterwards. But yeah, man, Jack, thanks again, man. Really appreciate it.
All right, cheers. Thank you.